those divas of disco any day. Gloria Gaynor. Donna Summer.
And Miss Alicia Bridges.
I love the night. Oh, I like to boogie on the disco floor. My God, have you ever seen anything more beautiful?
Gay TV is taking over. Everyone from Ellen DeGeneres to Will and Grace to the Queer Eye guys have created a must-see pink TV.
Woo! Sounds hot.
But most of these big gay shows tiptoe around one thing: the sexual part of homosexual. That's where Showtime's Queer as Folk comes in. It not only shows the explicit sex.
People want sexy, but they want hot.
It also takes all of gay culture and brings it out of the closet.
I think it's the first show to show people as three-dimensional sexual creatures.
Sorry. Man, how was he? Fabulous.
It's shocking much in the same way that Sex and the City's sex scenes were shocking when that first premiered.
Think of Queer as Folk as sort of a gay version of Sex and the City, without all the Manolos.
Can't wait. Sure you're up for it? He's up for it.
And with much hotter guys. Set in the outrageous Pittsburgh club scene, Queer as Folk revolves around the lives of the gayest group of leading men in television history.
I need you.
You think you do.
There's Brian. He's slept with almost every gay man on the planet.
Love is something that straight people tell themselves they're in so they can get laid.
Then there's Justin. He's a high school kid who loves Brian.
I just saw the face of gods. His name is Brian Kinney.
Meet Michael. He also loves Brian, but knows nothing will ever come of it.
I know that you'll always love me, no matter what.
I do.
Ted's a repressed accountant with self-esteem issues.
I was rejected by everybody.
Emmett is flamboyant, out, and loving every minute of it.
Love, love, love.
There's also a whole network of family and friends, like the lesbian couple Lindsay and Melanie.
You and me, signed, sealed, and delivered.
Audiences were initially drawn in by the raw sex and sensationalism. But they stayed for the stories of love and heartbreak.
I want you.
You can't have me.
When you boil it down and you strip away the sex and you strip away the fact that it's about a bunch of gay men, you're looking at relationships.
He's not your boyfriend. Brian doesn't do boyfriends.
Where you headed?
Everything special.
I can change that.
When Queer as Folk premiered in 2000, it started off with a bang, literally. Within the series' first 15 minutes, 17-year-old Justin loses his virginity to Brian, a much more experienced, older man.
The first time that Brian and Justin had sex was sort of jaw-dropping because it was really graphic gay male sex.
It was not only the first sex scene between Brian and Justin, it was the first sex scene we did on Queer as Folk.
So what do you like to do? Watch TV, play Tomb Raider. I'm in bed.
The two actors had barely been on camera doing anything, much less fooling around with another guy.
This is fine.
They barely had met. Hello, I'm Gail. Hello, I'm Randy. All right, take off your clothes and get into bed. We were all very nervous. I mean, we're not used to writing this stuff, shooting this kind of stuff.
There's always really intense vulnerability about taking your clothes off and trying to communicate with someone.
The guys weren't the only ones having sex problems. Straight actresses Michelle Clooney and Taya Gill had never gone girl before.
Next time we'll feed him together. You can give him my breast.
So, before their first shoot, they secluded themselves for a little lesbian practice time.
The first scene together, we not only had to kiss, but I was cupping her breast and kissing it. We both felt as though we had to be very comfortable with each other. That night, before we started, the next day, we got together at my hotel room. I said, what do you think? Should we read the script?
I remember we just jumped on our bed in the hotel room and sort of got on our knees and jumped around on the bed. And
we looked at each other and we said, we might as well practice kissing because it's going to have to look natural. I guess that's all we can do for now. I would never have done that with a guy. I would not call my male co-star and say, hey, do you want to practice kissing?
It's just so much more fun to be able to
to feel like, you know, she was up to playing around, so to speak.
Queer as Folk was nothing until it filled the roles of its queer folks. And unlike the characters, those early casting calls were not easy.
Ma, stop pinching my cheeks.
Well, bend over so I can pinch the other.
An awful lot of actors that we were talking were told by their agents and managers that this was not a good career move for them.
They could not get anyone to return their phone calls.
What exactly does one have to do?
No agents, no actors wanted to touch this project. It was just too scary. This is the reality, sweetheart.
It took a show of support from Cagney and Lacey star Sharon Gless to really get things moving.
I am proud to have a gay son. We know. I had never seen the likes of this script. It was so sexually graphic. These boys were going to take off their clothes and they were going to do this in front of the nation.
You have a beautiful body.
I know. I smell trouble, and I like trouble, and I wanted to be a part of it.
So Sharon took on the role of gay-friendly waitress Debbie Novotny.
Check this out. Ta-da!
Al Sparks signed up to play Debbie's gay son Michael, whose infatuation with his best friend Brian is at the heart of the show.
Just the sheer fact that people were afraid to do it made me rush to the audition.
Did I tell you what I found on eBay? A vintage Mego Linda Carter Wonder Woman doll.
Soon, the rest of the cast fell into place. Well before their lesbian love practice, Michelle Clooney and Taya Gill proved they had the right fiery chemistry.
There are some men who actually believe that the act of circumcision is very barbaric and cruel.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't care what men think about their I just care that you put Brian before me.
Scott Lowell and Peter Page clicked instantly as Ted and Emmett.
Turns out he's a big Nelly Bottom.
Their quirky friendship adds a comic edge to the show's more serious stories.
What do you think?
You put the gay back in geisha.
Yet there still wasn't anyone to play Brian, the charismatic man's man at the center of the story.
There was no one to play this part.
At the 11th hour, we were willing to take anybody who was breathing.
It's been a pleasure. Can be even more of one. Excuse me?
With the deadline to find Brian fast approaching, the casting director got lucky.
Finally, we get a call at 5 o'clock, and all I hear is, he's here. So we ran over to her office. We sat down. She brings in Gail Harold.
We owe it all to him.
And I said to him, Gail, can you come to the test on Monday? And I remember he was just sort of sitting there with a cigarette. No, can't be there, no.
Gail's indifferent self-confidence told them one thing. Their search was over.
It just seemed really exciting, you know, a unique opportunity.
Coming up, Justin and Brian's old-fashioned gay prom.
Save the last dance for me.
Some of them had the natural response. Those two guys are making out.
Plus, life imitates art as a gay teen stands up for his own prom rights.
Being rejected by your own school is very heartbreaking.
He walked on the set and I basically burst into tears. I was just so proud of it.
Plus, actor Scott Lowell's trip to hell and back.
I am happy and I am having fun.
That day could not have ended sooner for me.
Next, as VH1 goes inside Queer as Folk.
Where'd Michael go?
What time is it? 11 o'clock?
Time for Babylon. Night's just starting.
The heart and soul of Queer as Folk is the dance mecca, Club Babylon. Like the bar in Cheers, it's the place where everybody knows your name and your sexuality.
Babylon is to queer as folk what the coffee house is to friends, what the bar is to Cheers.
Chick-a-cheek. Ooh, it's better.
Babylon obviously is like the watering hole, and it's where you see all these different storylines intersect. It is ground zero of that peer group.
First they flood the dance floor of Babylon with soap suds.
Then everyone strips down to their undies.
Or less. And dances. Cheek to cheek.
To make Babylon really authentic, Queer as Folk started shooting the scenes in a real club.
In the pilot, we shot at a club called Government here in Toronto. It's a very big club, and it was full of extras, just like jam-packed. It was like the gay Playboy Mansion.
My God, have you ever seen anything more beautiful?
Venice at sunset.
Fine, you go down the Grand Canal, I'll
on him. We've had people who have been requested to drop their pants on a certain scene, and they'll walk for half an hour through the club naked before somebody catches them and realizes, no, not until we're rolling.
Jesus, look at him. People were having sex full on, not minding that other people are walking by with lights and things.
Every time somebody yelled cut, everybody was sneaking off into all the rooms to try and get him some. What would you do if you actually had to go?
They had to put up a sign in the bathroom because people were f***ing in the girls' bathroom.
While shooting in a real club made things feel authentically gay, it was the tricks of the trade that stretched the actors' vocal cords to the limit.
It's for us to be together, the way we used to be.
They're dancing, and then as soon as the dialogue is about to start, they shut the music off.
A rage teeny for you, and a Zephyr Poison for me.
Isn't that adorable? Leave it to Brian.
I'm trying to explain to you that I love you! And you have to speak really loud because supposedly the music is still playing.
When it comes to throwing parties, he's almost in the same league as me.
Damn right, right? Are our kids unbelievable or what? They absolutely are.
These are the challenges for us as actors on Queer as Folk. Everybody thinks the sex scene? No, it's the idiotic club speak in Babylon.
The writers and producers faced a challenge of their own, injecting real romance into the sex-crazed world of Queer as Folk.
Do you want to come to my prom with me?
Are you out of your mind?
The first season's real climax was all about the cynical Brian satisfying his boy toy Justin by going to his prom.
Brian is not a character who normally makes romantic gestures. I mean, he's the kind of guy who will see a hot guy and behind the staircase he'll pull down his pants.
That's sort of the ultimate fairy tale, this man that you have fallen completely in love with. He surrenders with this incredible, dramatic, valiant gesture.
Mind if I borrow your date?
Shooting this scene was a very special moment for gay actor Randy Harrison.
Through Justin, I got to, especially in the high school environment, sort of do a lot of things that I wish I had or had been empowered enough to do when I was in high school. It was liberating.
You can dance, every dance with the guy.
That's classic Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, only it's Fred Astaire, you know.
It was a night of surprises for everyone involved, especially the scene's prudish extras.
We staged the scene, we rehearsed the scene, but we didn't do the part where the boys kiss. This came as a complete surprise to all the extras, and when we did it, people were like,
you could hear that sound, like what are they doing? And some of them had the natural response. Those two guys are making out.
The scene was so inspirational that one teenager took it to heart and tried to bring his real boyfriend to his real prom.
Mark Hall was, at the time, a 17-year-old teenager going to a Catholic school.
A young, out, gay man had a boyfriend. He had seen the episode where Brian came to Justin's prom.
It's the best night of my life.
And wanted to bring his boyfriend to the prom with him.
As a person, we accept you, but we cannot condone or allow homosexual behavior at our school function. That motion is unanimous.
He took it to the school board. They said no. A radio station offered to throw him his own prom. Kids in his class signed a petition saying that they would go to the other prom, not to their own, if Mark wasn't allowed to bring his boyfriend.
Being rejected by your own school is very heartbreaking. I think that everyone is entitled to be who they are, rather than hide and feel this rejection.
Eventually the courts overruled the Catholic school board and told them that they had to allow him to bring his boyfriend to the prom.
I wanted him to come so bad.
I know.
The Queer as Folk team was so touched by Mark's story, they decided to make him a surprising offer.
We just picked up the phone one day and called him at home and said, "Do you want to come to the set of Queer as Folk?" And he was over the moon.
He walked on the set, and I basically burst into tears. I was just so proud of him and so proud to see him.
We put Mark Hall as an extra behind Ted and Emma at the bar in Babylon as they're having their conversation and looking into each other's eyes, and finally they kiss.
Jesus, what the hell are they putting those drinks? Bartender, 2 more.
And Mark Hall's right behind them with a pink boa around his neck.
While Mark Hall had the time of his life playing a dance club extra, Scott Lowell's transformation into a crystal meth addict was a whole different story.
I don't want to be me anymore. I hated that person.
Ted had started spiraling down into crystal meth. It was incredibly difficult just to watch Scott put himself through that.
My name is Blake, and I'm your counselor.
Meth addicts don't really care about food, so Scott needed to find a way to shed a few not-so-extra pounds.
Just wanted to get that gaunt look that crystal meth addicts have.
You look exhausted. Didn't you get any sleep?
He had lost so much weight and was just really tortured by the demons of the character.
Also, at some point, he just kept losing weight because he's carrying all Ted's issues inside of him.
Scott also began to withdraw from the rest of the cast and crew.
It's hot. We had to work out hand signals sometimes of when I was there and when I could actually speak to people or not. A happy face or a sad face. He would just kind of be like,
I don't need you criticizing me and making me feel like okay?
Scott found one sweet way to get through some tough days of shooting.
Got a box of Frango mints, which were one of my favorite things. The day we were shooting my last scene for the season, we had that box taped right underneath the camera lens. As soon as that thing was done, I just dove into those and ate those. And I went out for dinner. We had pizza and a pint of Guinness, and then I went down the street and I got these crepes with Nutella and bananas in them. I was so hungry that it was awful.
Coming up, the answer to the ultimate question: who's really gay and who's really not?
I am an artist. What I do requires concentration.
There were a couple I'm not too sure about.
Hal Sparks discovers that his character is sort of a drag.
Michael! Is that you?
It's Hal. I didn't even recognize him.
Next, as VH1 goes inside Queer as Folk.
My kid's gonna march with me in the parade!
When Hal Sparks signed up for Queer as Folk, he knew it would be tough. But his gay pride makeover was a total drag.
The biggest concern in shooting that scene was really trying to look enough like a woman where a guy watching a gay pride event wouldn't think you were a drag queen.
So which one of you is a real man?
When it was time to decide on a hair color, was Michael better as a blonde or a brunette?
Because if you did me as a brunette, I kind of looked like me/Gina Gershon.
The actors and the people walking around had no clue. In fact, some people thought it was Hillary Swank in a blonde wig.
Honey, just so you know, this is P-Flag, but you're welcome to walk with us.
The dress, hair, and makeup were set.
Michael!
Then it was time for Hal's ultimate tranny test, fooling the producers.
A hot-looking babe with blonde hair walked in the office.
This person looks so familiar to me. Why can't I remember who they are? This is so embarrassing.
It's Hal. I didn't even recognize him.
See you later, boy.
The real gay pride on the show comes from the straight actors who pull off playing gay.
I could be a real man if I wanted to. Stop gesturing with my hands. Never use words like fabulous or divine. But I'd rather my flame burn bright than be some puny little pilot life.
From day one, fans have been obsessed with the burning question, which actors are gay and which ones aren't. And does it matter?
Just us.
If I had to guess, I would say that they all were gay.
To give the ensemble more credibility, the straight actors went into the closet.
These particular actors wouldn't say if they were gay or straight.
Just tell them the usual.
They didn't want the press or the audiences to in any way prejudge them or their characters.
And the only faggots worth laughing at are the ones who don't tell the truth.
It's time for a little actor orientation quiz. First up, Peter Page.
I am an artist. What I do requires concentration.
I've always been out of the closet in my personal life since I was, a teenager.
We already know where Randy Harrison stands.
I don't dance. You do now.
I've been out since I was 15, and I'm not going to go back in because I'm on a TV show.
Scott Lowell.
As a heterosexual male, I am generally attracted to women. So working on Queer as Folk, having the opportunity to actually kiss other men, it's fine, but really not my cup of tea.
Hal Sparks. He may kiss men on screen, but off screen, he likes the ladies.
What if I make a fool out of myself? Who gives a I don't know necessarily that I looked at the character of Michael and approached it as, okay, I'm playing a gay man. What's that like?
Now the one we've all been waiting for, Gail Harold.
And who's the flying what straight people think?
Not being a gay man myself, I approached it as a character first. Try and focus on some strong, clear choices and just go with it,
It's just us, the Three Musketeers.
More like the Pointer Sisters.
In the end, it doesn't matter who's gay, who's straight, or what people think.
Care what you believe.
Queer as Folk has earned its place as one of the most groundbreaking shows in television history.
I'm going to be all right.
Queer as Folk is going to go down as a really pivotal moment in television. More than Will and Grace. More than Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. More than any of those shows. It has had a huge, huge impact on making straight people see gay people as they are.
It's genius.
It continues to run ahead of its time. It still amazes me that they did it. I still can't believe it's on television.